Good evening, everyone. Welcome to at Lafayette Live for Monday, November 4th, 2024. That's right, we're into November already. My, how time flies. It seems like we were just in the throes of summer, talking about all the fun to have here in the area at the local water parks, at Tippecanoe Cove, at Prophetstown State Park Water Park, our family's favorite Indiana beach, but those places are all well and closed now, have been for a very long time. We had daylight savings time this last weekend, or rather the end of daylight savings time, as my wife would point out to me, and gets dark an hour earlier now. So as I look out the window here to my left, it's pitch black out there at 7 o'clock at night. When I do this show with you all in the middle of summer, back in June and July, I look out and my kids are out there playing in the backyard, out in our yard and out in our forest. But it's windy and it's not cold just yet, but fall is definitely here. So hope you're doing great on a Monday here in November. As you drop in the chat, let us know where you're watching from. We always love to see where our audience is watching from. We always get some people local here in Lafayette or West Lafayette, definitely here in Indiana, but we've got some regular viewers from Texas and California. We get the occasional drop in from Florida, even. So wherever you're from, let us know in the chat, and you guys have some fun chatting over there while I go on about all the cool stuff going on here in Indiana. And let me know as we go what you think about all of this. So I've got a lot to cover tonight, so stick with us. A lot of good news here in the community to talk about, but also some Purdue stuff to talk about. One of the things that we're going to talk about is the Purdue housing lottery and what that means for real students and real families and their housing situation for the 2025-2026 school year. And I'm going to propose some ideas and talk about some of my thoughts on that. So if you're interested in home here in West Lafayette for the 2025 school year, stick around to the end. A lot to cover there. So, all right, lots going on over in the chat. I see we got people from all over the country. I'm gonna check the stream on my phone real quick. It looks a little fuzzy on my monitor. How's it look to you guys? Do I look fuzzy or does it look okay? Just gonna bring up YouTube on my phone sitting right here, so bear with me for a second while I glance down at my phone and see what it looks like there. Not sure if it's just the return that's looking fuzzy or if it's me that's looking fuzzy, so we are going to find out. Shouldn't be fuzzy. Oh, seems good on your end? Okay. It's probably just the YouTube studio view showing not in quite high res. I got all the screens in front of me and the camera and the microphone, and I can see what I'm seeing and the graphics and all of this, and it's starting to sound like my computer is getting ready to take off the deck of an aircraft carrier with the fan spinning up. So probably just a side effect of that. All right. Well, let's get going here. First off, in the news here in the Greater Lafayette area, Food Finders Food Bank is kicking off their annual Drive Away Hunger Fall Food Drive. And if you think that you don't know somebody who deals with food insecurity, you're wrong. We all know somebody that deals with food insecurity, with never maybe knowing for sure where their next meal is going to come from, whether they have enough protein on the table for their kids, whether if parents might eat a little less so their kids can make sure. We all know somebody at our school, at our workplace, at our church, our neighbors, our friends. It's not something that people like to talk about. It's definitely a hard subject, and Food Finders Food Bank does a great job in helping to feed people here in the area. So they have a concerted effort here in the fall to help bolster those efforts. So from now until November 22nd, they are partnering with local schools to do the Classroom Superstars program. And so the elementary, middle, or high school, well, elementary, middle, and high school that raises the most pounds of food will receive a Golden Spork Award, and they will get mention in all sorts of PR. What a great what a great job they're doing. November 27th is the annual Feed the Need Day. So they're at all Payless supermarkets here in the Lafayette area, on Maple Point, on Sagamore Parkway in West Lafayette, over on Greenbush on the north end, and on Beck Lane over on the west of the east side. There will be a food drive to raise food and funds for Food Finders Food Bank. November 28th, for those of you that want to get out on Thanksgiving morning, there's the Gobble Wobble 5K race being hosted by Fleet Feet, and again, to benefit the Food Finders Food Bank. 9:30 a.m. on Thanksgiving morning, so get out of bed, go run, work up an appetite for a good cause, then go home and eat. And then on December 3rd, we have Giving Tuesday, and on that day, they will have matching gifts so that every gift that you give will double its impact. So how can you help? How about all of those ways? Wouldn't that be the awesome way to do it? Donate and help on every day in every way that you can. So check that out, food-finders.org. The next one is really very, very timely. I try for the most part to not do things that are tomorrow. A lot of people watch the stream afterwards, in the day or two or even week after the stream is live. I love that you guys are here live with me this evening, but a lot of people do watch the recording. Not everybody can get in front of the TV or the computer or the phone at the same time, but this one's really important. Tomorrow is election day, and I'm not going to talk about who you should vote for and who's running or anything like that. We don't talk about that here. But whoever it is that you're voting for, you need to go vote. For some people, it might be a question of how to get there. Well, City Bus in Lafayette is offering free rides for Election Day. So all regular routes across Lafayette and West Lafayette will be free for the entire day, making it easier for everyone in the community to access polling locations in Lafayette and West Lafayette. And one of the cool things about Tippecanoe County is that we use vote centers instead of precincts. So you don't have to go to your assigned precinct. You can go to any voting center in the county and vote. And as long as you can get to a city bus, you can get there to vote tomorrow on November 5th. So get out there, do your civic duty, and vote. And take a free bus ride while you're at it. Do me a favor, take a moment and hit that like and subscribe button. Tell YouTube how much you enjoy joining us every Monday here on @Lafayette Live, watching all of our, I would count them for you, but all of our videos about Lafayette and West Lafayette, all the fun things to do in here, to do around town in Lafayette. So hit that subscribe button right now. Go do it. Really. Next up, and I'm just making way through these news articles. They are all very good news, but we have a lot to talk about. So I love this headline. This headline is from Star City News. I'm stealing, but I'm giving credit. A trail of two cities. Sagamore Parkway Trail links Lafayette and West Lafayette. So if you've ever driven on Sagamore Parkway on 52 between Lafayette and West Lafayette, it goes over the Wabash River when you transition from one town to another. It's the Wabash River that makes the dividing line between the two cities, and this is a high bridge. Well, they completely redeveloped the two bridges over the last couple of years, completely replaced one of the spans and then renovated the other span. And as part of that, they put in walking trails across the bridges, so now that you can actually walk across the bridge. But now the cities have completed their walking path connections to the bridge. So officials from both sides, from Lafayette and West Lafayette, had an official ribbon cutting on the Sagamore Parkway Trail in collaboration with the Wabash River Enhancement Corporation and the Indiana Department of Natural Resources. So you can hike, you can bike, you can walk. The trail is really cool. It goes through a bit of nature. You're on the high bridge overlooking the river so you can see wildlife. It's really kind of a cool thing that we've not really had. And it creates an 8-mile looped section of trail that um, you can walk, bike, or ride. So scenic overlooks of the Wabash River, like I said, and portions of it, and this is really, really cool, are accessible for people of all abilities. So it's not the entire trail, but portions of the trail. So that was just opened this last week. Let's see. Oh, find a detailed trail map. Let's look at this trail map. I would love to see this trail map. It is not really there. Documents, no documents. Well, that's a shame. Okay, moving on. There are a lot of churches in downtown Lafayette, and of course, that is where Lafayette got its start, is downtown. And when people moved to Lafayette, they brought their culture and their beliefs with them. And so we have a lot of churches within a small distance of each other. And Trinity United Methodist Church just received a $100,000 grant from the Indiana Landmarks Sacred Places Fund to restore their stained glass windows. So these windows were designed by a local artist. Her name was Edna Browning Ruby in the early 1900s and was one of the very few women to be working in stained glass at the time. There are 37 stained glass windows, some of them over 20 feet tall. So these are not small little windows, but over the 100+ years they have deteriorated and they need some love and some rehab and some rebuilding. So they're going to take each window, remove the panes, and have them rebuilt by local artists. And that's just really a cool thing. So the church will be celebrating 200 years. These windows are about 100 years old. So I thought that was really cool news. So if you're in the area, you should stop by when they finish it up and check out Trinity United Methodist Church and their renovated, rehabbed stained glass windows. Do me a favor, hit the like and subscribe button. Tell YouTube how much you enjoy joining us every Monday here on at Lafayette Live. Go enjoy our library of hundreds of videos about fun things to do here in Lafayette, road trips to take, interesting house tours, all that kind of cool stuff. You guys ready to hear about Purdue and housing yet? Well, stand by. We got a few more things to get through. Yeah, I know. I understand. All right. More good news out of West Lafayette. West Lafayette is funding a new study for the future of roadway improvements called the Comprehensive Safety Action Plan. And the goal of this study and future plans is to help reduce traffic collision fatalities, including car to car, car to bike, bike to pedestrian, pedestrian to car, all sorts of accidents. And their goal is to reduce to eventually zero traffic-related injuries. And they don't know exactly how this is going to go. That's the entire point of this study, is they're going to gather data, see what the condition of the roads are in relation to commonly accepted practices for traffic control and safety right now, things that are on the horizon that will increase safety, and they're going to see what comes of it, and the study will guide future planning. So I think that's a really cool thing. I mean, we already talk a lot about, connected cities, public transit. We don't have a lot of public transit here in Lafayette. West Lafayette is a little more bikeable than perhaps Lafayette is, just because of the size of the community. And they've done a great job of starting to connect the community over the last 10 and 20 years with more pedestrian and bike-friendly infrastructure, roads and paths and whatnot, but working to increase that while also just increasing automobile safety in general, because, let's face it, we're in America. We like our cars. I like my car. And our infrastructure, our cities are built around cars. So, but making them safer and considering what can be done today and what might be able to be done in the future, makes for a better city, right? Always improving. Next up, oh, what do you guys? Oh, you think that's pretty cool? I've got when I look away, I've got the chat over here on the right hand side, and sometimes it's hard to keep up, and sometimes it downshifts for just a moment, and I can kind of catch a breath and see what's going on. But you guys enjoy your chat over there, and I'll jump in when I can. Next up, Purdue University Airport receives a $1.5 million FFA. Purdue University Airport receives a $1.5 million FAA grant for the new Amelia Earhart Terminal. So Purdue University Airport restored passenger air service at the Purdue University Airport for the first time in about 20 years this last year. And I believe that they're looking towards the future and hoping to expand it. I believe that service, from all I've heard so far, is going fairly well. They're rather small puddle jumpers. They're prop planes. They're not jets, but they seem to be doing well. And they're going to build a new terminal. It's going to be a 10,000 square foot facility meeting modern TSA security requirements, of course, ADA accessibility standards, and just being a more pleasing place to be. I don't know if you've been in the existing terminal, but dated is perhaps a generous term for it. So I think that this is a good thing. They're going to have restrooms, baggage claim, a waiting area, and ticketing and passenger screening facilities. I mean, all the things that you're going to expect at an airport. So one airline currently flying out of there, hopefully more in the future. Currently you can fly from West Lafayette to O'Hare in Chicago, and then of course from O'Hare you can connect to anywhere in the world. You can catch the L and connect to Chicago. Once you're in Chicago, you can connect to Metra or Amtrak and travel around the country. So it's a really cool thing. Do me a favor, hit that like and subscribe button. That's right, it's right there. Go hit it, subscribe button. All right. I got a cough I just can't shake this week. Very much over it. I wish I could get over it. Here's what we're going to spend a lot of time talking about tonight. And we're going to talk about it in several different ways. Here's the headline. Over 2,200 Purdue students seek housing after residence lottery results released. Here's my headline. Is the Purdue housing lottery leaving you out in the cold? Let's talk about some choices. So, Purdue University has more students than they have beds available in dorm rooms. And not just more students, but more students that want to stay in dorms. Because of course there are always students who will opt not to stay in a dorm, who just don't make sense to stay in a dorm. But these are students who wanted to be in a dorm. It was a big to-do this last year. They did a lot of things like modifying housing contracts, taking doubles and turning them into triples, taking triples and turning them into quads, taking quads and turning them into 5s and 6s, turning lounges and other spaces into multi-bed dorm rooms. It was a big to-do, and nobody walked away happy from that situation. The students didn't walk away happy. The parents didn't walk away happy. And quite frankly, I don't think Purdue walked away happy. It wasn't a good look for them, and I don't think anybody enjoyed doing it. And I think that Purdue was just making the best of a bad situation. The explanation was because of a number of reasons. They got more applications and a higher yield on acceptance than their best projections ever told them. But as a result, they've got to plan for the future. And while it is only November of 2024, they're already thinking ahead to August of 2025. And in order to manage housing demand, they instituted a lottery system. So what they did is they pulled aside enough space for the incoming freshmen that will have guarantees, and they do that through various ways. You sign housing contracts by such and such date, you come to Boiler Gold Rush freshman orientation, you get guaranteed housing. So they set aside an inventory of housing for them, and then that left them with however many beds were left, and then they assigned a lottery number to every student, every returning student who wanted a bed in a Purdue University residence managed facility. And the result was that more than 10,000 students applied. And once they ran the lottery and selected numbers, 2,200 students were left out. And those students will have no choice but to look for campus. Those students will have no choice but to look for off-campus housing or not come back to Purdue University. That's a pretty stark choice, a pretty hard place to be in. Now, Purdue likes to say that they found room for 83% of the applicants. But to be fair, there were a lot of people that we heard of that just opted not to even get into the lottery. They were just done with their experience with university residences, and understandably so. So they found room for 83% of applicants. I don't believe that's the same thing as saying 83% of people who really would have liked to have a dorm room of some sort. I don't know what the percentages are, but it's probably somewhere between 50 and 83%. That's a wide range. I'm just guessing here, but I've heard of a lot of people through a lot of different sources, through friends, through just meeting people, through social media, of people saying, I'm done, not doing it. So what are these people going to do? What are you going to do if you don't have guaranteed student housing for next year? Well, you can go out and rent an apartment. You could go out and rent a house. And those are pretty much your options. There are two other on-campus options. There is Greek life, and then there is something that is similar to Greek life called co-op, and that is shared off-campus housing that's not Greek life, and I won't split hairs about what the differences are between Greek life and co-op. But there are some other housing options that are on-campus adjacent, but Greek life isn't for everybody, and Greek life still has a capacity. So even if Greek life happens to be for you and it's a choice that you wanted to make, there's still no guarantee that you're going to get housing there either. So rent a house, rent an apartment. But what about another choice? Rent is expensive. Nationwide, that's just full stop. Rent's expensive. There's no two ways about it. So what, instead of renting, you buy a house? Now, I know that might sound crazy. Put your hand up if you think that sounds crazy over in the chat or in the comments below. But the fact of the matter is that the median rental price and the median sales price on a month-by-month basis, on a mortgage payment basis, in West Lafayette are very similar. And in some cases in Lafayette, the mortgage payment can come in less than a rent payment. Now, yes, you have to come up with a down payment. 20% is the generally accepted number that people talk about, but there are many, many ways to reduce that to 10%, to 3.5% FHA loans, to 3%, and even down to 0%. And I'm not just making this up. The USDA, United States Department of Agriculture, runs a loan program for rural housing that you can put down 0%. And those areas in the Greater Lafayette area are basically anything outside of the Lafayette or West Lafayette city limits. So it's very doable. Some people have access to capital and cash through family, through inheritance, through whatever it might be, and some people don't. But just because you don't have access to capital doesn't mean that you can't buy a house. And how does this business model work? What am I talking about? Jeff, what are you talking about? Buy a house, get 2 roommates, buy 1 house, get 2 roommates, charge them a reasonable amount of rent, and basically they will cover your mortgage payment every month. And you're investing in yourself and the time that you're here at Purdue. If you're here as an undergrad for 4 years, if you're here for a master's 2 or 3 years, if you're here for a PhD 5 years, and if you're here for any combination of those, you could be here for 10 to 15 years. Considering that the average loan in America is 30 years, 15 is half of that. It's something to think about. But Jeff, why 1 house? Why 2 roommates? There's a specific reason for that. You need to buy a 3-bedroom in West Lafayette. You want to stay close to Purdue University. You don't have to drive all the way across Lafayette. You want to be outside the boundary zone that you're allowed to get a C parking permit or hop on a bus and get to Purdue in a reasonable amount of time. So you want to stay in West Lafayette. You want to stay connected to the community and the culture of the university and the town of West Lafayette. The town of West Lafayette, the city of West Lafayette, has an ordinance on the books that only 3 unrelated people can live under one roof. This is why I say buy one house, get 2 roommates. You live together with your 2 roommates, you have 3 people. You meet the requirements. Each of you gets a bedroom. Now you can go buy something bigger, buy a 4 or 5 bedroom and turn it into an office, but you're not going to get the revenue from adding any additional roommates to that unless you happen to have a sibling who's going to be at Purdue at the same time with you. That is a little bit of a loophole in that. So with rents starting around $600 to $800 for a very, very cheap place in West Lafayette, and the average being somewhere around $1,200 to $1,400, and studios in the new high-rise developments starting at $1,800 and $1,900 a month and going on up from there. Having a $1,600, $2,000, even $2,400 monthly mortgage payment is not crazy. Divide that $2,400 by 3 and you got $800. You pay $800 in rent and each of your roommates pays $800 in rent. Now, if you can increase their rent a little bit, take it to $1,200. That's what they're going to be paying off campus anyway. Get your mortgage payment down a little bit, increase your down payment, get a slightly cheaper home, whatever you got to do to balance that. But is that really doable? And I think the answer is yes. And that's not just Geoff, the realtor. That's also Geoff, the decent human being, Geoff, the dad, saying that. Let's look at the map real quick of what we're talking about when we are talking about West Lafayette. So here we go. This is a map of West Lafayette. I'm going to zoom out just a little bit so we can see here is the Wabash River. That's this blue curvy line going through here. It is the Wabash River that delineates Lafayette in the east and West Lafayette to the west. And then this red dotted line is the West Lafayette city limits. So anything in those red lines is West Lafayette. Now, there is a bit of development out here to the west of West Lafayette. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. And we're actually going to look at some homes in a little while that are out in this area that those ordinances don't currently apply to. It only applies in the red area here. Now, the university is kind of down here in the southern end of West Lafayette. So where are we talking about living? Well, we are talking about living. So we're talking about the university kind of being down in this general vicinity. Ideally, it would be awesome to kind of live right in here, in the blue circle. There's a limited amount of homes in that general area that are available at any given time. And there's only a limited amount of homes in any area of West Lafayette at any given time. But we're going to go through those numbers here in a few minutes to show you what the realities of the situation are. But you could live basically anywhere in this green area and still be close enough to the university to drive in a reasonable amount of time or hop on a bus. There's 2 major routes that go through here, kind of generally this way, and then there's another one that's generally right through here. And then some of the other developments that we're going to talk about out here just to the west side of West Lafayette are kind of generally out this way. So again, not exactly in the city, but close enough. There are kind of 2 major, well, really 3 major shopping areas of West Lafayette. in addition to the university. So there is the village area around West Lafayette, which is down here. But then up here on Sagamore Parkway is Payless, which is a Kroger supermarket, Walmart, lots of fast food, kind of generally in this vicinity. And then there's a bunch of new retail that's popping up over here, kind of over in this general vicinity. So that's what we're talking about when we talk about West Lafayette. And you can go even further out. Of course you can. But I want to start thinking about this. And so we're going to look at some homes that are to the north of campus. And then we're going to look at some homes that are to the north of campus, kind of in this general vicinity. And then we're going to look at a few homes that are to the west of campus, kind of over in this general vicinity. But before we dive into the specific homes, let's dive into the market and what West Lafayette numbers really look like, because I hear all the time, Jeff, there are no homes available. Well, there are no homes available right now, but that doesn't mean that there won't be one available tomorrow or the day after or the day after that. New homes come available all the time in every market, but even in West Lafayette. And yes, you have to have all your ducks in a row. You need to have your pre-approval ready to go. You can't decide today you want to buy a house in West Lafayette and then go do it. You have to do some homework ahead of time. And I'd love to talk to you about that. Please reach out. My contact information is right here. Whatever form of communication works best for you. If you love to text, shoot me a text at 765-413-6190. If you want to send me an email, it's Geoff, geoff, at russellteam.com. If you need that information loaded into your phone, scan this QR code and it will digitally load into your phone so you don't have to type it. And then you can also go to the LafayetteReal.com/YouTube and fill out a form there and let me know how I might be able to help you. But we got to do some steps to get ready to go looking. But once we get those steps done, then we're ready to go. So as things come on the market, as they do each and every day, you can be ready to go. But let's go through some stats of what the data really looks like in West Lafayette. All right, we're going to see what this looks like. Not that one. So we're going to look at the data for West Lafayette and what the market really has looked like this last year. So first off, we're looking at average daily inventory, and this is Wabash Township. This goes a little north of West Lafayette compared to what I might ideally like to look at, but the source of these graphs won't let me drill down to West Lafayette. So there's a little bit of extra inventory in the raw numbers, but the percentages hold up. It's just that I can't quickly make fancy, fun graphs. So in September, it was 60. The average daily inventory, 60 homes for sale. But Jeff, there are no homes for sale. On average, there's 60 every day. And there has been since June. Now we'll look and we'll see this big dip back here in February. That's the way it is. Real estate is pegged to the temperature. Nobody wants to move in the cold. And things are continuing to improve year over year. New listings. This is new listings month over month. In September, it was 41. And it was that way in August and July. And it was actually higher over the summer. That's exactly what we would expect to see. It reached a peak of about 66. So every month, there are 41 new listings in West Lafayette coming on the market. More than one a day. But Jeff, there are no houses available. Yes, there are. Closed sales. This is the number of deals that actually closed In September, it was 23. We can see it was a peak of about 54 back in July. So again, back in July, almost 2 a day. It has slowed down in the data that ended at the end of September. We're waiting to close the data for October and to see exactly what that looks like. We'll have that data closed out early next week. It's a little too early to look at that. It takes a few days to close up the previous month. But 23, and there are a lot of reasons for that. Interest rate cuts, people thinking about interest rates coming and what they were going to do, the actual effect of interest rate cuts, moving into the winter. But houses are closing almost every day of the month. New pending contracts. This is, hi, I'd like to buy your house. Here's my offer. And the seller going, yes, I will accept that offer. That's that step. September, 37. And you can see it's right on the trend line. It peaked at about 52. But we're right kind of on this trend line. More than one a day. Geoff, there's no houses available in West Lafayette. Yes, there are. Are they all walking distance to Purdue University? No, they're not. Are there other options than walking to Purdue University? Yes, there are. But some of these houses are walking distance to Purdue University, and not all of them are super expensive. Some of them are, absolutely. Median days on market. This is that prep work that I'm talking about. If you want to go and buy a house, you can't just go and look and say, yeah, I want to buy your house. First off, you need to have a source of funds. If you're loaded and have lots of cash and you're ready to go, we just need to see that proof of funds. That doesn't apply to a whole lot of people. And if it doesn't apply to you, you need to get a pre-approval. And I would love to partner you with one of my great friends here in the area who work in the mortgage industry. And I don't have financial arrangements with any of them. I just work with 2 or 3 on a regular basis that know how to get things done, that know how to get people into homes, many times with low or no down payment. I don't get any bonus from that whatsoever, but you got to get pre-approved first. And once you get that pre-approval, then we can chat about what your ideals are, how many bedrooms you want. And if it's in West Lafayette and you're a student and you want to rent them, you want 3 bedrooms. Then it's really just a question of price versus distance versus other ancillary features. And then we can start looking, because the median days on market in September, so half of the inventory sold in 8 days or less, and then the other half sold in 8 days or more. So popping back here, total closed sale, we'll do closed, 23, so that's half is about 12. So 6 went in 12 days or less, 6 went in 12 days or more. Sorry, 8. I don't know where I got the 12. 12. I was talking about 12 sold. Of the 12, 6 went in 8 days or less, 6 went in 8 days or more. That means if your house goes on sale on a Monday, 8 days later, the following Monday, it's sold. It's that fast. And that's the entire township. If you zoom into West Lafayette School Corporation, which is that tighter area, it's roughly the city boundaries. It's not exactly, but it's roughly the city boundaries. That actually jumps down or up, depending on your perspective, to 3 or 4 days. So list your house on a Friday, have it sold on a Sunday. So this is where that homework comes in. That pre-approval, you got to have it ready to go. Having a great working relationship with your realtor, with me, who's on the active search, looking for your house, talking to other realtors in the area, talking to people who are interested in selling, having the finger on the pulse of what's coming up so that when it does come up, we can go look and we can offer, and then we can win and you can move in. That's what it takes. Because 8 days is pretty darn fast. 3 and 4 days is even faster. Months of inventory is really kind of a realtor number. It's an economist number as well. It's been super low. Look at this chart. This chart stretches back to 2019, so pre-COVID. But even pre-COVID, it was less than 2. And it's hovered around almost zero, 0.5 to 1 through late 2020 into mid 2022. And then it's been seeing signs of popping back up. In September, it was 3 months of inventory, which is as high as it's been in the last 5 years. Isn't that crazy? It's absolutely crazy that it has been so low. We should have around 4 to 5 months of inventory, so we're still not quite where we need to be. And maybe September is an anomaly. We'll see in October and November as that data comes in and tells us if this is the start of a trend or if it's just a blip. I can't afford a house. Well, we've already talked about what rents are. And if you're really going to go pay $1,800 for a studio apartment in a chintzy high-rise on the hill in West Lafayette, you can afford a mortgage. End of story. You can. That's just a fact. The median sales price in West Lafayette in Wabash Township in September of 2024, $315,600. And if you look over here at the trend line, look, it trended down. And we can see this trend line here going up with a little down, going up with a little down. What do we expect to see? Well, what did I say? That the market is tied to the weather. It's going to get colder. It's going to get colder. And this number is going to probably continue to dip at least a little bit. You can afford a house. Now, can you afford every house? Of course not. That's not what I'm saying. Can't afford $1 million house? I can't afford $1 million house. I'm not sure if I could afford $1 million house, I would actually want to. I rather love my house. So, sale price as percent of listing price. But Jeff, I want to buy a house, but I think they're overpriced and I want to write a lowball offer. Well, guess what? In September, 97.6%. So if you asked $100,000 for your house sold for $97,600, just to make the math easy. Those percentages basically work out to sellers giving concessions at the closing table for things like closing costs or maybe your realtor's commission or other things like repairs. They are very, very minor. And we can look and see in this chart that it's been hovering just south of 100%, even going a little north of 100% back in January of this year, hitting 100.5%, where people were offering slightly over. So are houses more expensive than they used to be? Yes. Are they overvalued? This data tells us no. People are willing to pay the price that sellers are putting their houses on the market at. So that's a little bit of a look at, so that's a little bit of a look at the data of the West Lafayette real estate market, the Wabash Township real estate market, which is a little larger than West Lafayette, but again, the percentages basically hold up for West Lafayette. It's just the gross numbers are a little bit higher for West Lafayette than Wabash Township. And again, the only reason that I did this is these fun, pretty graphs are a lot easier to make than doing it manually. So where should you live? Well, there are three choices, like I said. Right now, in the walkable neighborhoods to Purdue University, there are a dearth of homes. And they are homes that we have either looked at recently and are probably slightly overpriced for what we're really considering here. So tonight we're going to look at homes close to Purdue University that make sense to buy and then live in as a student and then bring roommates in to help pay your mortgage. So our criteria Our criteria are basically it has to be 3 bedrooms, no more. You could do less, but we're going to go with 3 bedrooms to help spread that cost out across 3 people rather than 2 people. And it's got to be relatively close to Purdue University. How exactly do I define that? Well, it's got to be within about a 10-minute drive of Purdue University, and that's a little bit more gray. And then it's got to be not too expensive. And for this particular case, not too expensive is somewhere between about $250,000 and $450,000 on the high end. $450,000 is definitely probably a little high for this particular thought experiment, but to get the sample size of data in there, we definitely have to do that. So first off, all right, we're going to look at 212 Pawnee Drive. 212 Pawnee Drive is a 4-bedroom, 3-bath located in West Lafayette within driving distance, but not walking distance to Purdue University. Here it is on the map. Here is Pawnee Drive, right in this area here. This is Sagamore Parkway up here to the north. And then if we zoom out a little bit, we'll see here is Purdue University down this way. So could you walk or bike to Purdue University from here? Yes, you could. You could come out here and head over this way and come on down. It would be a very, very long walk. Not too bad of a bike trip. You could do it. But this is definitely outside of the zone where Purdue allows you to buy a C-Pass, which is roughly in this area here. So let's take a look at 212 Pawnee Drive. This is the front. Lovely brick home. Double doors. Has a basketball goal, so you can get outside and work out. Lovely deck and porch out back, so you can get outside from both the first and second floors. This backs on to the Happy Hollow ravine system, so it's nature in your backyard. They've got a lot of pictures of the deck. Definitely spaces for outdoor entertaining here. But let's head inside into the living room with what is, I believe, a gas fireplace. Hardwood or laminate floors. Let's see if I can tell here which these... Oh, it's actually a wood-burning fireplace. My apologies. That is actually wood-burning. I don't see a note... Vinyl plank flooring. Okay, so not wood floor, vinyl plank flooring. But that's okay. Lovely living room with the it's not a pass-through, but the breakfast bar attached to the kitchen. Keep yourself warm in the winter with that wood fireplace. It's got that 1970s slate tile in the entryway. I love that. Not everybody does, and that's okay. Electric range. So this is the other thing. Factor in the cost of eating. So if you're living in a dorm, you're going to pay for a meal plan. If you own a home, you're going to have your own kitchen. Now you're going to have to buy and cook that food. Admittedly. Big open area between the kitchen and the living and the dining room. Kind of the great room concept there. A little bit of a den connects to the 2-car garage with bay window in there. And there's a gas heater on the wall to help keep that room warm. That was probably an addition to connect to the house. One of the bedrooms, ceiling fans throughout, it looks like. It's probably the primary bath with the dual basin sink. Again, this is a This is a 3-bath. Is this 3 baths or 2.5? It says 3 baths. So in this particular case, if it is indeed 3 baths, there's the second one. You can see the stand-up shower. There's a bedroom. This one looks like it might have possibly been used as a rental. Maybe this was a kid's room. You got that slate wall there, that blackboard paint wall. Okay, so that upstairs one was probably actually a gas fireplace, and here's the wood-burning fireplace down in the basement. What a great room to have your friends over for a party or for a study night. Got a great brick surround around the fireplace. Wet bar back there. You can see the sink arching up the spigot. Laundry room downstairs. There's the third bathroom. I see the toilet and the sink. I'm not sure if there's a shower there or not. It might only be 2.5. If it's 3, everybody gets their own bathroom. If it's 2.5, then you do a shared bathroom. But if you're living in a dorm, you're sharing with more than 2 or 3 people. Lots of storage downstairs, and that brings us to the end. So that's 212 Pawnee Drive. Again, this is a 4-bedroom, 3-bath, 3,243 square feet in West Lafayette, in a very, very long biking distance to Purdue University, but certainly very much within quick commuting distance to Purdue University, whether you drive or want to hop on the bus. So next, we're going to look all right. Next, we are going to look at 2229 Huron Road in West Lafayette. It is a 4-bedroom, 3-bath, 2,183 square foot home that is, again, within a very long biking distance, really not walkable to Purdue University, but certainly within an easy 5-minute drive to Purdue University, or you can hop on the bus. And here is the map. And we'll see here's Sagamore Parkway, really, really close. And I'll zoom out a little bit. Here's Salisbury, cuts down to Grant Street, and Purdue University is just right down here. It's that close. You can bike. If you're a biker, this is an easy bike ride. If you're not a biker, then that's going to be quite a long ride. But is outside the CPAS permit zone, so you can get a CPAS to drive into the university. It is 4 bedrooms, 3 baths, 2,183 square feet. It's been beautifully remodeled. Let's go and check it out. This one's a little higher on the price range. We'll find out what it is because of the remodeling. You can see that warm, inviting lighting, the brown garage door. They've done some lovely work on this one. Got a porch along the side. Also on the back, is that the same porch? So here we go. We got a living room connected to a family room. We'll see the primary suite with ensuite bathroom, and then 2 other baths, 1 ensuite with a bedroom. So there are 2 ensuites. So one of your roommates gets lucky and gets their own private bath. This one is 4 bedrooms. It is more bedrooms than you can handle with the West Lafayette restrictions on total number of unrelated people. So that 4th bedroom would have to be an office or study room. New floors, neutral paint. It looks like a wood fireplace. See if I can tell if it says. I can't quickly tell, but it still has the wood holder there, the rack. Great room setup. Very much a modern farmhouse color palette that's all the rage right now. Sink in the island along with the dishwasher. Stainless steel appliances. You got the snack bar, breakfast bar built into the central kitchen island. This is lovely, great, well done. Looks like they've done the windows as well. Here is one of the bedrooms with carpet, the primary bath, the giant walk-in shower, the double basin sinks, the carriage house lights up above. I believe this is one of the secondary bedrooms. And then the ensuite bathroom. So one roommate gets their private bath, and then the third roommate has the shared public bath. This is really nicely done. You know, it's got the neutral modern color palette. I was going to say they have a stacking washer and dryer. They have the washer and dryer stacked. That's not what you normally think of as a stacking set. Mudroom, place to dump all your stuff as you come in. So that is 2229 Huron Road, 4 bedrooms, 3 baths, 2,183 square feet. The list price on this one is definitely at the high end, $459,900. Is this the best house for the model of buying and then bringing in 2 roommates? Probably not, but it does show what is possible, and I wanted to pick one that was still on that side of Sagamore Parkway. So next, we're going to look at 3630 Chesterfield Way. We're going to look at another 3-bedroom, 2-bath. You guys still with me here? Excellent. Glad you're here. All right, so let's get this one ready to go. We're going to look at 3630 Chesterfield Way in West Lafayette. This is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,863 square feet, but it has a 3-car garage. So everybody gets their own garage space, but not everybody gets their own private bathroom. We're looking at 3630 Chesterfield Way. Again, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, 1,863 square feet. And here is where it is located. And we'll zoom out a little bit. We'll see 350 North right here, and here's Salisbury. That's to orient you a little bit. This one's a little further north. And as we zoom out, I'm going to move the map a little bit. Here's Sagamore Parkway. Here is 52 that kind of divides West Lafayette from the section that's a little closer to Purdue University down to the south down here, and the part that's a little further away. So this one is definitely further away. It is up in the Arbor Chase area. And as I said, it's 3 bedrooms, 2 baths. This one is a approximate 10-minute drive into Purdue University down here towards the south. Definitely not walkable or bikeable, but you can hop on the bus to get there as well. So 3630 Chesterfield Way, here's the front. Again, 3-car garage. Lovely kitchen. I was going to say great room. It's got the kitchen connected to the living room. Probably vinyl floors. I'm not sure if those are wood or not. Let's see. I'm getting all sorts of error messages right now, but that's okay. Looks like they have this one set up as an office. Here's another look at the living room. Great windows looking out onto the backyard. You see your neighbors. Hey, a color palette that isn't just gray and white. Got some blue in there. Electric stove. Here's the primary suite and the ensuite bath with the dual basin sink and walk-in closet. Giant shower. One of the secondary bedrooms. Again, this is a 3-bedroom, 1 for you and 1 for each of your 2 roommates. Remember, that's how this math works. You buy the house, they pay you rent, and that takes care of your mortgage. Another bedroom, the secondary bathroom. There are 2 bathrooms, so you get your own private bathroom, and then your roommates get to share this one. No tub in this house, though. Laundry mudroom, and a lovely back porch for a little bit of outdoor living. So for those that want taste of outdoors but don't want to live out there. So that is 3630 Chesterfield Way. 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, 1,863 square feet, about a 10-minute drive away from Purdue University, currently listed at $380,000. So we started off looking at homes to the north, and now we're going to move out to homes that are slightly to the west. Slightly to the west. Some of these are not in the West Lafayette. Well, actually, we have one more to the north. Next, we're going to look at 3519 Woodfield Street in West Lafayette. This is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,863 square feet. And let's take a look at the map to place this. This one is a little to the north and slightly to the east. You'll see Soldiers Home Road right here. This is a major north-south street in West Lafayette. And I'll move the map around a little bit, and we'll see here's Calbera, here's Salisbury, one of the major north-south streets through West Lafayette. Barberry Heights down here. This is where the Kroger is. And I'll continue to zoom out and move the map around. Purdue University is down in this general vicinity, down here at the bottom of the map towards the south. So this one is definitely a little more distant from Purdue University, no doubt. It is probably a 12-minute drive away from Purdue University, but you can get a C parking pass. There is a bus line that runs on Soldiers Home Road. It doesn't run on the weekends, so having a car here would probably be a necessity. But let's take a little tour. So here's the front facade, and this one kind of strikes me as maybe the garage was added afterwards, the way it stands off and has this brick extension that connects the house to the garage. But let's take a look inside. I love the wood parquet floor. I know it's not everybody's taste, but I think that's pretty cool. Definitely beats the normal vinyl plank that we see all the time. Lovely brick mantle, wood mantle, but brick surround fireplace. Is that wood? My cat decided to join us. Not sure if that's wood or gas. We can see the dividing wall that's probably going to send us back to the dining room and kitchen with cabinetry that might be original to the home, but that's okay. And again, this is a 4-bedroom, 3-bath, so more bathrooms, more bedrooms. Oh, I love that range hood over the gas stove. If you got to choose gas or electric, I'm going to go with gas. Heat up your water faster, get your tea ready faster. That's me. Not a giant kitchen, but that island really gives you a lot of workspace. And you have the in-the-wall oven and microwave. That's definitely space-saving. Really kind of well laid out. I think that's a rather efficient-looking kitchen, if you ask me. And I do rather like the range hood. What do you guys think about this? You can see all the IT home automation stuff hanging on the wall there. The laundry room just off of the kitchen. Probably heads in from the garage. Lovely lace doily curtains in one of the bathrooms. Again, 4 bedrooms, 3 baths. So if you're going to have 2 roommates, you're going to have to turn one of these bedrooms into an office or study room or gym, and that's okay. Got a little bit of worn, dated carpet and the saloon-style swinging doors heading into what I assume is the primary bath. A little dated, perhaps, but, location, 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 and space, and all on one level. Again, looking at bedrooms here. One of these bedrooms you would have to turn into an office if you wanted to buy a house and have 2 roommates pay you to live in the house. You can't have 3 roommates in West Lafayette, and this one is still in the West Lafayette City Municipal limits, so that still applies here. Second of the 3 bathrooms, this one with a shower. Oh, this one, I misspoke. This does have a basement, so not all on one level. Great area for entertaining down there, holding parties. Lots of storage to be had in the unfinished sections. Great deck overlooking nature and the trees out back there. There is a radon mitigation system there in place for the basement. I have a lot of windows open. A lot of windows. Oh, this one's really kind of great. How long has this one been listed? New on October 10th, so it's been listed for about a month. Very, very interesting. So that is 3519 Woodfield Street in West Lafayette. So that brings us to the end of our homes slightly to the north of West Lafayette, but next we're going to head slightly to the west. And some of these homes still fit inside of the West Lafayette city limits, but some of them don't. And if you're outside of the West Lafayette city limits, you can have more than 2 roommates. You can have more than 3 unrelated people living together. So you can make a more of an economic boon by getting another bedroom, by having some roommates share a bedroom. But you don't have to. I'm just saying you can. So next we're going to look at 2111 Kestrel Boulevard. But before we do that, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. Tell YouTube how much you enjoy joining us every Monday here on Lafayette Live, how much you enjoy all the content on our channel, our hundreds of videos about Lafayette and West Lafayette, Purdue University, housing, and where the heck to live here in the area. This is 2111 Kestrel Boulevard in West Lafayette. It is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,818 square foot home. Let's take a look. Sorry, that something is very, very strange. Sorry, my computer started acting weird. I'm just going to close a few windows and we're going to try this one more time. Come on, Mr. Computer, you can do it. This might be the end of our tour for the evening. Stand by. Technical difficulties. Just going to reopen and see if my problem goes away. Pop this into full screen. Hey, no. Wow, okay. Well, my computer has decided to go and do something very strange. So I think we're going to start to wrap it up here. And then next week, we'll explore some homes that are to the west of West Lafayette and explore what that might look like from a value and living standpoint. But let me know, what did you think about this week's numbers, these homes? If you're a Purdue University student, would you drive 10 minutes into Purdue University? I mean, I think it makes sense. Wouldn't you rather pay yourself $1,800 a month, $2,000 a month, $2,400 a month, rather than giving it away to a landlord? That's how we build wealth. You start paying now, and you're going to have a home paid off early in your career. If you're a PhD student, you're going to continue to build equity in yourself so that when you sell and move on to your next posting, you've got a bunch of equity. But I think it's kind of a no-brainer. I see a bunch of people in the chat kind of agreeing, some not quite so sure, and I get it. It's definitely a complicated thing to think about, but definitely is something to think about. So hit that like and subscribe button. Go check out all of the videos on my channel. Hundreds of videos about Lafayette and West Lafayette, Purdue University, living in the area, fun things to do, great food to eat, all that kind of stuff. Tell YouTube how much you enjoy. Hit the subscribe button right now so that you're notified every time that we publish new content, which is all of the time. And I hope you really, really enjoy your week. And don't forget to join us again next week, November 11th, for At Lafayette Live, as we do every Monday at 7 o'clock. I will see you all next week.